Okay, as you can see here, I am done with the braiding. I brought all of the braiding right to this end. I figured I'll take an inch or two off because I found this hose a little long originally. And now I'm going to seal off the braid and I'm going to lock it down. I'm going to do that with some artificial sinew, which is actually just polyfilament cord or thread that can be split down and is also heavily waxed. It's very useful in a lot of leather work and some traditional crafts like that, but it's also super durable and locks onto itself pretty well, which is something we're going to really need here. Then we're going to use sano acrylate. This is thick super glue. I'm a fan of this stuff. I find it very versatile, and once it's fully cured, it's actually pretty much like food grade, though where this is in the hose isn't going to come in contact with smoke or my mouth or anything like that, so no real worries there. But you may as well go for the highest level of food safety you can. So, you can see I actually already went through the process on this end. Well, let me get that into frame. And now we're going to do that over here. So, all we're going to do, pull back this tape a little bit so you can actually see where the braid ends. Right about there. We're going to take our artificial sinew, pull off a bunch. And what we're going to do is actually whip this. So, let's see. Which whipping do I want to do? There's a simple one. Okay, so I'm going to cut off a small length of this. I'm going to create a little loop. It's going to go there. And now I'm going to whip, as one would whip the fletchings of an arrow, actually, or the ends of a rope, by wrapping my artificial sinew around the hose and over that loop. Pull tight, wrap again, pull tight, wrap again, pull tight, and you want to leave yourself an okay amount here for tying a knot. Now, I'm going to give this one more wrap in the other direction with this end of it, just so I can go nice and tight and crank that down. Alright. So there we have it. So what I'm going to do now, geez, Paul, come on, make sure that that's in frame, is cut off this end here and pass this through that loop I created with a little bit of slack, and I'm going to grab the other ends of that loop. I'm going to pull it underneath so that the tail that I left on that end comes through below the whipping. And now the two ends are going to get tied together into a square knot. Come on, Paul, get in frame. So right over left, tighten, right to under left, tighten. And that's pretty well locked. So what I'm going to do now is take my glue and thoroughly saturate this end of the braiding. So I'm going to start on the knot so that that never ever comes out, and then just run along the edge and make sure that these strands never ever come apart again. This is kind of an unnecessary level of fixation here, or foundation, but I find it's kind of worth it. It creates a very, very solid piece, and I want this to be durable because I want this hose to last for a very long time. Anyways, I'm going to let that cure. I'm going to actually take this and lay the ends flat down into the glue. And once that cures, it'll be very secure, and then we're going to take our blade and cut this off. So, I'll be back with that in a second. And we're back. And and it is time to cut this off. So I'm going to start by cutting off the excess thread, the excess sinew, just to get those out of the way. So pretty well stuck on there. And now I'm going to go right into the glue here, actually, because that's where the least fraying is going to occur. But I'm not going to cut into the sinew, or the artificial sinew, because that would kind of defeat the purpose. There we go. And that's the leftovers. And this is the hose. So this will all get covered with finishing knots, but it's now time to move on to the next section, which will end up being the handle and all of the finishing work. So we'll see you guys next time, and hopefully you'll enjoy that. Happy smoking, folks.